Okay, guys, this week we are very fortunate to have on the Audopia and Coach Track podcast, Nick Aschettino. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to know a little bit more about you, a little bit more about your journey into coaching. And then after that, let's have a deep dive. Let's learn all about Audopia and where it's going. But Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me, Greg. So to tell you a little bit about me, so coaching for me really was rooted in, I was always somebody that was always interested in personal development and growth. Even from a young age, I would say that always kind of like interested me. Even when I was a little kid, actually, I was, getting my hands on any book I could find in personal development, whether that was, Carl Jung or, the Bible or something like this. So I've always been interested in personal development. For me, it was always a passion. And I think by the time I was maybe like 18, 19, I'd already read a lot of the important scriptures, for example, the Bible, the Vedas, the Quran, some things that really interested me. So that was my kind of passion, was actually always personal growth. And that led me on to learning more about coaching, personal growth, the mind, how we can improve ourselves. So that was something which always interested me and was always my passion. So after that, I started studying, gained necessary qualifications, and really just led on to me helping others and starting my business.
Nick, thank you so much. It's such a powerful story. So that leads us on nicely to talk about Audopia. So can you introduce us to Audopia and can you tell us what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Audopia is a platform which we started, and it's a platform where we wanted to help individuals to grow anywhere, anytime. Because I always say to people, if I was to ask you, if you was to ask 10 different people where they go to for their personal growth or personal development, they'll give you 10 different answers. They might say they go to Audible. They might say they go to Mind Valley, Calm, somewhere else. And so what Audopia wanted to do was we wanted to make one centralized hub where people could go to for personal growth, whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work, ADHD, leadership skills. We wanted to put all of that in one centralized hub where people could essentially grow anywhere, anytime, because that's what we're doing. We've created one centralized hub where people can go to, and just where it's whatever type of growth it is, they can go to and listen, whether they're on a walk or whether they're driving their car, whether they're mowing the lawn, something like that. Anywhere. They could grow anywhere, anytime, just by listening. So that's what Audopia is. They can literally just, listen and grow while they're on the, which we felt that there was nothing quite like that in the world. There was nothing like that in the world. So that's what we wanted to really build on, making this app there where people could grow anytime, anywhere, of all types of learnings, whether it's, again, ADHD or anything else.
Nick, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. What I love about Audopia is it's slightly different, right? And I've got a really good example of this, of why I love it, why I think it's going to do well, and why I think it'd be beneficial, right? So my wife, for example, her natural source of knowledge, if you like, is TikTok, is Instagram, right? She obviously, AI, but she openly talked about how her eyes were hurting, right? For the last 2 weeks, she's had like a sharpness, and almost like an overuse sort of like pain in her eyes. I think what's great about this is it's not done on screens. Obviously, you've got to log in and you've got to find your course using it. But then, like you said, you could do it as you're walking, you could do it as you're driving. Right? I used to love listening to podcasts as I drive, for example. I think that's maybe one of the biggest powers in this. Actually, is you're getting people to maybe to look at a different sphere, to move into a different space. And I think that's why it's so powerful. And that probably leads us on really well to another great question, what sparked the idea behind Audopia? Was there a particular moment? Was there a particular experience that inspired it? That light bulb moment for you, Nick?
Yeah, and to just to follow on from what you said about your wife and the eyes, that is so powerful, and that is the problem which we're solving. Because what we're trying to do with Audopia is we're trying to make personal growth more affordable, more accessible, and more healthy for the world. Because we believe that you should be able to grow without having to look at your phone and strain your eyes. So there should be a platform in the world where personal growth is completely accessible, more affordable for the world. And again, you're not it's not at a detriment of your eyesight. But to answer your question, where did it all start? It's a really interesting answer because for me, I was at a really difficult place in my life. I was at a really difficult place, and I was divorced. I was coaching, but my coaching work had completely dried up. So I was divorced. My coaching work had dried up, and I was just kind of trying to hold everything together at that point. Yeah, I had my savings, but they were drying up fast as well. So I remember afternoon, I was out driving, and I stopped at a red traffic lights. I stopped at the red light, and I look to my right and I see this guy sitting on a bench, and he had his face in his hands like this. And he looked so defeated, so sad. And I could relate to that because that's how I felt on the inside. That's at the point in life where I was at. And then I look to my left and I see this guy mowing along with his headphones in, but he looks so happy. He looks so happy. And then a jogger passing by, again, headphones in. And I look back at this guy and something inside of me clicked. And I realized at that point, why is there not a way that people can grow anytime, anywhere in the world? There should be a way that people can grow just while they're living. And that was really what sparked the idea of Audopia, that if we could have all this learning that people could listen to while they're going about their daily life, how incredible would that be? And that's what I came to the realization. And it really excited me. And I went home and I started to plan it. And it was a really exciting moment for me.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree. I agree. One of the things I love about Audopia is this. I'm a school teacher. Okay, so people learn primarily in three different ways. There's audio, visual, kinesthetic, right? And obviously they're quite evenly matched in terms of like preferential learners, if that makes sense. They say that 30% learn best from audio, 30% learn best from visual, 30% learn best from doing, right? Kinesthetic. But if you can match two up together, if you can do two at the same time, for example, if you can listen to a course and walk your dog at the same time, you strengthen those patterns, the usage of your left and right side of your brains. I think that's where there's a lot of power in this. If you actually think about learning, looking down, looking at your laptop, for example, watching YouTube, it's only ever going to suit 30% of people, and the amount of actual like, intake is going to be limited. You switch off after, I know this obviously because trying to market myself. Most people switch off after 0.2 seconds. They only really take something on board if they're interested after 30 seconds, and they can only fully focus for 2 minutes. So if you think about Audopia being great, if you can listen to an audio course, which is 30 minutes, cut into 30-minute sections, and you can do that whilst walking or driving, and you're doing two things at one time, the ability to actually intake that, the ability to process, the ability to actually, have something meaningful is far better because, you're using both sides of your brain. I think that's why this is going to be great, is there's so much going for it. And that brings me on to this new exciting news, Nick. You've got an app on the way. Tell me a little bit more about it and how is that different and when's it coming out?
Yes, and that's really what inspired the app. What inspired this movement was that when people are burnt out in the world, they go to work and they're looking at the screen all day. And they come home and they just watch a TV, or they go on their phones. And a lot of these people, they want to learn, they want to grow, but there's no app, there's no centralized hub where people can do that without detriment of their eyesight straining. So even if, for example, mothers in the world, if they want their children to learn, but they want to stop their kids being on their phones so much, it's difficult because there's nothing like that. So if they could maybe just get the Audopia app and they can listen to it and grow without having to be on their phones, I think that's just amazing. So that's what the Audopia app is. We've got courses from over 28 professional coaches and therapists all in one place. And we've got courses from ADHD, we've got breath work, confidence building, leadership skills, you name it, it's all on there, all in one place. And it's all created in, as you said, in bite-sized chunks for people to listen to wherever they are. So they can listen to on the go, all in one place, all created by your experts. Because again, there's a massive problem in the world at the minute where people want that growth, but one, it's extremely expensive. It's extremely expensive to grow. Not everybody wants to go outside of their house and get therapy or coaching. But what Audopia is not doing is that we're not trying to replace traditional coaching and therapy. That's not what we're doing. But what we do have is we have the opportunity for individuals to listen to these professional qualified coaches and therapists with their courses where they can listen to it anywhere in the world at any time.
That's a really, really good point. Well, dope is not there to replace coaches or therapies. I agree with that. But one thing I do think it's able to do is it's able to sharpen, able to heighten people's interest, the problems that they're looking for. That all comes down to accessibility, right? So one thing I realized as a coach a long time ago, and the biggest flaw I think that coaches go for, and us looking in a personal development space, is when a coach starts, they put themselves out there as their name. They say, Sam, productivity coach. The real problem is that it's not solving anyone's problems, right? So, for example, you've got courses on ADHD, you've got mine on there, which is the coach trap, helping struggling coaches with whatever. You've got the idea of, my relationship course, which is all about helping women, speak to men during a time of conflict. It's not Greg Styan, the coach. No one wants to know about me, okay? But a woman would quite like to know, I'd hope she would like to know how to speak to a man during an argument, or a struggling coach might want to know how to market themselves. That's about accessibility, okay? That's about finding people's problems, and matching a course to it. And I know a lot about this. So obviously, with my work with the coach trap, we look at niches, we look at what people are searching for. I was doing a search the other day and I realized that the biggest question being asked in this space in terms of personal development at the moment is about weather. People are concerned about weather. If you think about everything that is going on, that would make a great course on Audopia. But it comes back to that big thing, isn't it? It's not about the coach. It's not about Greg Styan. It's not about Storm or whoever it is. As great as they are, that's not what it's about. But it's about the problems that it can solve for people. The idea about my course, for women. The idea about ADHD. So tell us a little bit more about that. Was accessibility part of your thinking when you decided to include that kind of content?
Definitely, absolutely. And as I mentioned to you, when you ask these people, your friend, your family, where do you go to for personal growth? They'll give you so many different answers. But Audopia is just that one centralized hub, no matter what it is. And some of the content which we're really kind of focused on and we're very passionate about is the courses which aren't as accessible to individuals in the world. For example, ADHD, neurodiversity. If you try to get diagnosed for ADHD or autism, I believe there's a 2 to 3 year wait list. And just to get support as well. To get support, is a tremendous wait list. But so what Audopia has is we have this platform where individuals who are struggling with these issues can go on and they can listen to professional courses by these experts in ADHD, and they can get that support to grow. Where again, whether it's ADHD or menopause is another one. We have a course on menopause. Many people are struggling with menopause, and we've created a course specifically for those people that are struggling. And I think that's what's great about Audopia. No matter what it is you're struggling with, you can go to that platform and find the support you need, no matter what it is, and you can listen to it anytime, anywhere, all at an affordable price. Again, which is we're really passionate about. All the coaches on board, extremely qualified and passionate. That for us was what drives us to make these courses.
Absolutely. Nick, I also think it's not just a great opportunity for the client. I think it's a great opportunity for the coaches. From my experience, 86% of coaches quit or fail every single year. So 50,000 new ICF coaches get that fancy qualification, if you like, and they quit because it's hard. You're in immense competition. Marketing yourself is really difficult. They don't quite find enough clients to make it a full-time thing. But one thing about coaching is it doesn't just have to be about one-to-one sessions. You can monetize YouTube channels, you can create audiobooks, whatever it is, right? That's why I think this is great for the coaches, because it's an opportunity. For me, it was a great opportunity to create, like a different ticket offer, where they say that we talked about how expensive coaching is. Not everyone is going to spend £2,000 on 6 weeks, okay? But lots of people would actively spend £50 or £30 or £20 or whatever it is, okay? I think that's why the access to this is great, okay? Not just for the client, but for the coach also. It's a good opportunity to get your name out there. It's a good opportunity to, work with potential clients or whatever it might be. But I think obviously we've got a good community going with the coaches that are there as well. You know, we've done the podcast where we've helped coaches sell their courses. We have weekly meetings and we learn from each other. We bounce off ideas. I actually think the community within the coaching thing is crucially important, because actually coaching is a lonely space. Working online is incredibly hard because you're always on your own. So actually having that community aspect, I think, is really, really important. Obviously, Audopia needs the coaches, doesn't it? More coaches, more courses, more options, greater opportunity. So are you still bringing new experts on board? And if so, what kind of voices are you looking for?
Yeah, definitely. And that's such an important consideration which when we was creating Audopia, because we both know how difficult coaching is. As you said, a lot of coaches want to do it, but it's extremely difficult. So we're not only trying to create a platform for the individual consumers, but also all the coaches that come on board, or the therapists or experts that come on board, it gives them an opportunity to really get themselves in the spotlight, because not only are they getting their content, which potentially thousands or millions of people can view, but they're also going to be in the spotlight where people can reach out to them directly. Again, because coaching is difficult. So by bringing all these coaches on board, we're looking for coaches from all different areas, and as long as they're extremely qualified, then we absolutely want more content, because I feel like that's one thing which some of these other platforms have missed out on, and maybe to their detriment, is that they have the courses, they have the content, and it's very niche, but they don't highlight the coaches. And that's exactly what Adobe is. Again, we have this community. We want to highlight their coaches to potentially millions of people across the world, which can help them grow as well. So that's what we're seeing as well. And that's why everybody on board is so excited as well. And we just can't wait for not just to grow, but to help all the coaches on board as well, to help them grow to their full potential as well, which is what we're seeing.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting opportunity in a time of need. I think actually, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, things are at an all-time low in terms of certain aspects. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think actually there's lots of positive stuff going on, especially in this personal development space. Lots of people trying to actively help others, trying to put stuff in place, you know, like this. It's wonderful. We think about, you know, the positive aspects it can have on, you know, the client who, you know, invests in the app, but the coaches as well, being able to market themselves out there, you know, being a community is priceless, absolutely priceless. Look, it's a much needed company at a time of need. Tell us a little bit more about when is the app being launched, and you know, how can listeners get access?
So the app, actually, we're very, very close to launching it. We're potentially looking at the end of next month. We're going to have an official date released very soon, but we're potentially looking at the end of next month. So for anybody that wants to get on to be the first one to listen to it, we have a wait list. So we're also giving out 14 days free to the first 50 subscribers on the wait list. So if for anybody that wants to be the first one to listen to all the content, all they have to do is go to the website, which is audopia.co.uk, and sign up to the wait list. And what we'll then do is they'll be the first people that can listen to all the content on Audopia for free. So yeah, anyone that's interested, whether you're a coach or an individual consumer that wants that support, just get on the wait list and you'll be the very first person to listen to our app.
Exciting times, Nick. Can't wait for it. And obviously, you know, to get an opportunity like that for free is fantastic. Let's move on. Okay, I think there's a few more questions that we can ask, and then it'll be a good opportunity to wrap this up, I think. But look, are there any courses in particular that you think are gold? Right. I know in the past you've considered, you know, some have been given away for free, but tell me a little bit more about that. Are there any that you think are sharp, that you can't miss out on? You know, ones that land. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, to be honest, all the coaches we bring on board are amazing. I can say that. So, and that means that all the content which we produce is also incredible. So, for me, all the courses are superb, but it's more about what content are we creating that's more difficult for the individual consumer to get, which they probably couldn't normally. Again, when we talk about ADHD, menopause, things that people are struggling with, are becoming more aware of every day, but they don't have that support. They're having to wait 2 or 3 years, or scour the internet just to find some support. So it's courses like that that really, really help Audopia and help people that are struggling to get that support that really kind of stand out for me. But in terms of the content, again, we've got every course is phenomenal. Again, breath work, confidence, all of them are incredible. Yourself, all your courses are incredible. So yeah, we've got courses on parenting to help parents as well. When I say that we have a diverse kind of range of courses, we absolutely mean it. And you won't find that anywhere on any other platform. And that's what Audopia is.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's an amazing opportunity. You know, in the time of need, when people need somewhere to go, that they're looking for something that isn't TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is. You know, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. Nick, any other gems that you want to tell us about? Any other exciting aspects of it that we can look forward to? I know, obviously, as well. Tell us a little bit more. Where's the best place to find it? I know you're on LinkedIn. I know you're on Instagram. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we are on all of the socials actually. So if anybody does want to learn more about us before the app goes live, you can visit the website, which is again audopia.co.uk. We have all the courses on there. We've got so many more in development at the moment, which are going to be released over the next few weeks that we're ready to launch with the app. But if you want to find out more, just go on. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram at Audopia, and all the coaches are on there as well. So it's not just about connecting with Audopia, but all the coaches and therapists are on there too. So if you do want that extra support right now, you can listen to one of the courses right now, or you can connect with any of the coaches as well. We're easy to find. All you have to do is put our name on any social media and you'll find us. And you can also, again, because we're such a tight community, it's so easy to connect with any coach, with yourself, with ADHD, any other coach. So just get on social media and you won't find it hard to find us.
Excellent, Nick. Exciting times, and I can't wait to see the future. I can't wait to see this evolve. I can't wait to see this, go out to a wider audience. Exciting times. Guys, I would just like to say thank you so much for joining us today on the Audopia and Coach Trap podcast. Nick, thank you so much for joining us, and catch you next time.
Brilliant.